Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A local police chief is on leave tonight after he's linked to a string of inflammatory tweets about people protesting police brutality.
And the Local 4 defenders introduce us to a local mom who's getting good at spotting potential trouble at protests before it starts. Good to have you with us. We're going to start things off here at 6 with the protests and the marches that are going on right now across our area.
Jason Colthorpe live in Detroit on what could be a second straight night without an enforced curfew in the city. Jason.
Yes, and we are sure hoping it plays out that way, Kim. Let me give you a look at this protest. Normally at 6 o'clock, these folks are on the move, but it got going a little late today, and it started small, but as you can see, it has grown to at least the size it was yesterday, which was the biggest we had seen at this point. It also has some star power today. Some of the Detroit Pistons are here. Dwayne Casey, the head coach, along with Luke Kennard, Brandon Knight, and some other folks from the Pistons are here. They are in support. They are going to march with these folks, and we expect that to happen any moment. There are a couple different activists leading different groups within this, but we expect most of these people to stay together, and we will see what happens when the curfew begins at 8 o'clock. Now let's check in with Larry Sproul, who's downriver and on the move with some other protesters. Larry.
Yeah, Jason, we are here live in Lincoln Park where this part of the march just wrapped up. I just wanted to show you what we're talking about. As you can see, a lot of young people out here that participated and led up this march. We started here in the Sears parking lot. We marched down to Allen Park PD, to Lincoln Park PD, and now we're back here as well. Police officers marched with them as well. Overall, a very peaceful protest, no incidents whatsoever. And the message was that the young people was in charge of this. They wanted to get the message out that all lives, Black Lives Matter. They kept repeating George Floyd's name. They kept repeating Breonna Taylor's name as well, but a very peaceful protest. And this is what it's all about. We are live in Allen Park tonight. Larry Sproul, Local 4.
Larry, family, friends, supporters, and even some celebrities came together in Minneapolis to pay tribute to George Floyd. Nearly 1,000 mourners paying their respects while wearing masks, we would note, in the midst of the pandemic.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson, Senator Amy Klobuchar, celebrities Kevin Hart and Ludacris attended today's service. The Reverend Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy and says it's time for a change.
What happened to Floyd happens every day in this country, in education, in health services, and in every area of American life. It's time for us to stand up in George's name and say, get your knee off our necks.
2 more public viewings will take place over the weekend in North Carolina and Houston, Texas. Floyd will be laid to rest Tuesday.
Meantime, bond for 3 former officers charged with aiding and abetting is set now at $750,000. Shelby Township's police chief, meanwhile, is on administrative leave tonight.
Robert Shalid is under investigation for tweets about the protests and in some cases rioting we've seen across the country this week. One of the posts in question refers to people in a photo as, quote, wild savages and talks about body bags for these vicious subhumans.
Rod Maloney live in Shelby Township with the latest on the reaction to all this. Rod?
Well, Devin, as you can well imagine, there is deep concern here in Shelby Township. The chief now off the job with pay while they investigate these accounts. There are 2 of them. One is called Sheepdog 711. Another one is Bobby S. And tweets going back and forth in differing arenas. And it could be that the chief might lose his job because of what's in there. There is certainly no mistaking the sentiments in these Twitter posts. The violence prompting Bobby S. to say, "This makes me want to vomit. Get ready for communism. We've lost the country to bottom feeders, savages, and weak anarchists." Then Bobby S. posted Trump threatening to deploy the military. "I have a better idea. Unleash the real cops and let them take care of these barbarians. I promise it will be over in 24 hours. Cops are crippled by politicians and the media." A last original post said, "Wild savages. I wish to God I would have been there. Body bags for these vicious subhumans. Oh, on another note, I dare you to drag me out of my vehicle." Bobby S. also replied to other posts, one apparently from a parent worried about a police officer's son in the middle of chaos who said, "Please make it stop. Please pray." Bobby S. replies, "I would hit them with tear gas and water cannons, rubber bullets. They have no right to be on the freeway." The question now surrounds whether the tweets actually belong to the chief. This afternoon, Shelby Township spokesperson Brad Bates had this to say about how the township board is reacting.
Core of all of our beliefs as Americans is due process, presumption of innocence, and equal protection under the law. So, and right of freedom of expression. So at this time, Shelby Township is still gathering facts about the situation, and it's really premature to comment any further than this.
Now, the Township Board had a special meeting this afternoon on another subject, but this was injected into it. The vote was unanimous, with some of them saying that they were reluctant to do it because they feel like the chief has done a very good job. But the investigation is now being done by an outside law firm. Reporting live in Shelby Township, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod. The Local 4 defenders continue to ask Detroit police what they've learned about individuals infiltrating peaceful protests to cause chaos.
Police Chief James Craig calls them outsiders and criminals, but he hasn't offered details really about who they are or what they are trying to accomplish. Defender Sean Lay is with One Metro Detroit mom who saw these instigators up close. Sean, what she saw was pretty disturbing.
Let's describe it for you. You're talking about a suburban mom who felt so strongly about coming down here and adding her voice to the protesters. Then when the smoke of tear gas clears, she looks around. She's seeing fellow protesters coordinating on walkie-talkies wearing backpacks full of bricks. She and other protesters jumped in to try to stop whatever they were up to. Protests in Detroit. In the middle of it, a Metro Detroit mom who felt strongly about adding to the peaceful protests.
And I think everybody in this sense wants to get involved.
But Friday night, chaos broke out. Tear gas headed her way. And some protesters on walkie-talkies also stood out to her.
Not a lot of people know this, but they're very highly organized. They have walkie-talkies. They deliberately try to infiltrate the protests and blend in. I started noticing that they started putting bricks in their backpack. So when I saw that, I immediately thought that, okay, I'm going to film this. You know,
where were they getting bricks? Where would they get where?
You know, there were checkpoints and they were just like randomly placed.
What did you say when you confronted them?
I started filming. I said, these people have bricks in their backpacks. They're going to try to start a riot.
Okay, so these protesters put bricks in their backpack?
Join the cops, you want to be a cop, man.
Who? I mean, we always are trying to answer that question.
Nobody really knows who they are.
She also followed them. Others did too, sending the defenders these photos of some armed with spray paint, tagging the TCF Center with the Antifa symbol. Police continue to call out outsiders. The defenders continue to ask, who are they? Wondering if you were learning anything about people that are here, about their backgrounds, if they have political agendas, if they've said things online.
Sean, I am not going to talk about intelligence. I don't know how many different ways I can say it. I'm not going to get into my information, my intelligence.
And this mom and others say they won't let anyone come to mess with the main message.
People in Michigan, we're kind of like a family. When we see something, we're going to call it out.
Let's talk about the legalities of all this. If there's people in from out of town planning things, have anyone been arrested? Late today, Police Chief Craig indicated of the hundreds of curfew tickets written, those tickets may be thrown out completely in the next couple of days. We checked with the prosecutor's office. A handful of felony cases were submitted. Most were rejected. Only 2 were approved. One, a woman from Tennessee here who was armed with a taser, or at least had a taser in her bag. And another from Friday night, a man from Southfield who allegedly tried to run down a police officer. We're live downtown tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4 Defenders.
Yeah, okay, Sean, thanks. And tonight on NBC Nightly News, Lester Holt anchors special coverage live from Minneapolis following George Floyd's memorial service. NBC News reporters are on the ground across the country with the latest on America in crisis, so be sure to tune in. That's at 6:30 immediately following this broadcast.
Let's turn now to the latest on the coronavirus crisis. Michigan reporting 206 new cases today and another 25 additional deaths. The latest data showing hospitalizations are trending down, as are the numbers of cases and fatalities.
And there's a small bit of positive news regarding unemployment. While nearly 2 million people applied for unemployment benefits last week, that number is lower than last week. Michigan's numbers dropped by about 24,000 week to week.
We know there's a lot of information and misinformation out and about right now on the virus.
Our Dr. Frank McGeorge is here with the Trust Index on something many people are buying or considering buying. And Dr. McGeorge, we're talking about copper masks here.
Yeah, Kim and Devin. So, masks are an important part of reducing the spread of respiratory infections, and they've really become essential in our battle against COVID-19. But short of obtaining medical-grade N95 respirators, many people are looking for other ways to maximize their mask benefit. And because the surface of copper is known to be antimicrobial, the idea of using copper-infused fibers in face masks, well, that's become popular. But do they really help?
Metals like copper and silver are known to have antimicrobial properties, enough so that when researchers published a study in the New England Journal of Medicine on how long the COVID-19 virus could survive on surfaces, they included copper in their analysis. No infectious virus could be found on copper after 4 hours compared to 24 hours for cardboard. Hence the idea that using copper fibers or infusing fabric with copper could improve a mask wearer's protection. In order to allow you to breathe, though, masks have fine pores that filter contaminants. The presence of copper doesn't improve that filtration. It's simply dependent on the size of the pores. Now, what about the things that get trapped in or on your mask? Could copper help there? Possibly. It's important to understand the ability of a copper surface to kill bacteria and viruses is not instantaneous, although it is referred to as contact killing. Bacteria and viruses that come in contact with the copper will be eliminated faster than if there was no copper. However, many copper masks being sold are made of multiple layers, only one of which contains copper. The other layers will likely have just as much bacterial and viral contamination.
So for now, I am giving this a not true on the Trust Index. While at least one layer may be expected to be less contaminated, I would frankly wait for more proof that they are more hygienic. The bottom line is, while there is some fun science behind the idea of using copper in a mask, at present there is just no evidence that a copper-infused mask would keep you any safer than an ordinary mask. And furthermore, keep in mind, the primary purpose of masks is to prevent you from spreading your germs. And copper, well, it's just not going to change that.
So what about the products themselves? Are the sellers reliable?
Well, Devin, that's obviously a completely different problem. There is no quality guarantee or uniformity to these products. If you wanted to buy a copper mask, I would definitely say that you should research the source that you're buying from because, frankly, it's not a completely new idea. And there are, in fact, manufacturers that have been selling them for years in some cases for mainly hygienic alternatives that the mask becomes less colonized with odor-causing microbes. So there is some possibility there. Back to you.
All right, Frank.
All right, good info. Well, our trust in Ben Bailey never wavers. Hi there, Ben.
Copper-free going into this forecast, just so you know. But we do have some heat building as we get into Friday. It's not too bad out there right now, but there are a couple rogue showers. We'll take a look at those and a much cooler weekend, plus Tropical Storm Cristobal. We'll pack it all in next.
It's been nearly 3 months since pet groomers had to shut down for COVID-19. Now they are back open and anticipating lots and lots of fur.